Australia has unveiled its annual budget with plans seeking to balance between reducing the cost of living pressures for citizens and boosting a shift to renewable energy, all a bit to reduce dependency on fossil fuels. Our key to its green initiative is a fledgling Made in Australia program. It's aiming to jumpstart homegrown clean energy and advanced manufacturing industries. Maynard has more on what was in the budget.
Central to this year's budget is the government's commitment to help Australians cope with the rising cost of living while not adding to inflationary pressures in the process. So Treasurer Jim Chalmers was keen to emphasise the positive, declaring that this is a budget for the here and now and for the decades to come. He described it as a responsible budget which would help people under pressure financially while investing in the promise and potential of a more prosperous future. There'll be tax cuts from July, with many people getting an extra $804 in their pocket. There's to be new help with energy bills for every household and for small business. Students will have part of their higher education debt reduced. Billions will be spent on building new homes, which Australia desperately needs at the moment because of rising population numbers. And there'll be a greater emphasis on domestic manufacturing, with more investment in local industry and innovation, especially in the renewable energy sector. Health and aged care also get a big financial boost, as does support for easing social problems such as domestic violence. The Treasurer made it clear that his budget was framed in fraught and fragile global conditions, with the world economy subdued and inflation lingering in parts of the world and growth slowing in China. He referred to tensions escalating in the Middle East and Ukraine and the effect they were having on global supply chains. Perhaps with this in mind, the government has also announced a big increase in defence spending over the next decade on nuclear-powered submarines and long-range missiles and targeting systems. Much of all this has been common knowledge for some months, but the one big announcement that the Treasurer kept to himself until today was the fact that this year's budget could deliver a $9.3 billion surplus, the second surplus in 2 years. That's good news for the economy, but the worry is that all these budget announcements might add to inflation, which is currently put at 3.6%. The government wants to see it down to 2.75% by the middle of next year, but the Reserve Bank is not hopeful, suggesting it'll still be at 3.2% by June next year. That doesn't bode well for the Labour administration, which has to call a general election within the next 12 months and would ideally hope to go to the country with the cost of living firmly under control. So the success or otherwise of the budget could arguably make or break the government. Maynard, CNA, Sydney.